We're joined now by Nkechi Chukwuneke, who is a legal practitioner and also a public analyst. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Good having me again.
About this list, I think the reactions will continue for a while, even when they start screening them in the Senate. But what sticks out for you, having seen the list?
Well, it has come. It's been long expected, and I'm sure one leg of it is done. Nigerians will be at rest, if nothing nice. It's like it will never come to pass, as if there weren't going to be any ministers working with this present administration. But thank God we have it at last, even with the shortcomings, with the complaints, with whatever that is being going on. That's an opinion. You are entitled to say what you feel about it. But I think it's coming out when it should come. So we have accepted it the way it is. The president is a very thorough person. I'm sure he wouldn't want to do anything shabby. That's part of why it took this long. And now the list is here. Yeah. It's raising a lot of issues.
That notwithstanding, his thoroughness, what would you have loved to see on the list that is not there?
I think everything that should be there is there. But if you say the portion, or maybe more women in the list, that's what I would have expected. In
this first one, or?
Well, we are talking what you have at hand. That's what we are looking at now. We don't know what the list is, what the content is.
But if you say he's a thorough person?
Yes, of course. He has done the first 21. That's about 14% of women inclusion. That is not to say that the remaining 16, he wouldn't have, he will have more women coming on board. But judging on what we have at hand now, the percentage is low.
But people usually ask, and maybe I shouldn't be the one asking this question, but I have every confidence that it won't come as a surprise to you. People always say, what is the relevance? I mean, when you provide roles, if you're, for instance, made Minister of Works, whether it's a man or a woman, the role doesn't differentiate whether it's a man or a woman.
Correct.
You're supposed to do things for the good of everybody, be they adults or children, whatever their sex is. As long as they're Nigerian, they should be able to feel the impact of what it is that you've done. And sex usually doesn't, matter in delivering that. Do you agree with that?
Yes, yes and no. I will explain. Now, anybody can do any job, man or woman. All we want is the effect, the impact to be felt by whoever that is doing that job. But that is not to say that certain people should be excluded from performing certain duties, in as much as they're also capable. The youths, women, men, professionals, technocrats. If you can do the job, why not? It mustn't be a certain set of people only performing it. In other words, you're saying that these other people are either not part of Nigeria, or they are not capable, or it's meant for certain categories of people. I think that's the point here.
That's the message that, excluding women, you say, even though some people will say that you also have to look for very capable women, as you need to look for capable men as well. And it shouldn't be just for the sake of it that we just appoint, certain kinds of women, or women for the sake of it, as it were. So far, so good, though. Do you have any reservations with the women that have been appointed?
Yes, I have. I remember I commented about the former minister for aviation. It was on air, it's on internet. I was against certain things that she did as a woman, in as much as we want women inclusion in governance of this country, which we are part of. We also want credible women, we want quality women, we want women who will go out there to represent us.
No, I wasn't talking about the past list. I'm talking about this.
That's what you asked the question. I'm trying to give you a foundation. Okay. That is to say that women should come in. You are asking me if I have reservation about this okay, the present women here. Yes, and I want to let, no, I don't have any reservation about them at all. If I have any reservation, is that maybe we should have at least maybe 5 women or 6. That's the only reservation I have.
Okay.
So you think it's been thorough, didn't capture this that you've spoken about? Because at the moment we've got 3. We don't know how many more.
That's what I'm saying. I'm coming to that. In as much as we have 3, we are discussing based on what we have now. We don't know what next is coming up. But also, it's also good to discuss some of these things beforehand so that maybe in the next list, we'll have more women, more credible women. I will still insist on more credible women because women are expected to be more passionate, thorough, moral, conscience, motherlyhood. So they will put it in play in whatever they are doing in the governance of affairs of any position they have. Not to be ridiculed, be greedy, reduce women folk. We are asking for recognition, who shouldn't be. 35 inclusion, we've shifted to 50, probably 100. But then, if we must get there, it has to be people who will say, yes, oh, women, they really actually deserve it. Why don't we even make them president? Why don't we give them all the ministerial list to run their affairs? So this is, I think this is the area.
You know, is that where we're headed? I'm sure that, men would definitely chuckle on that one. But I'm just wondering, though, you have talked about women. Is there anything else that you would say? You have said that you don't really have much to, you don't really want to pick a bone with this list because aside the women and youths not being included. But how do you see them doing during the senatorial, when the Senate eventually screens them?
It's up to the Senate. They'll have their criteria. I'm sure before they were even nominated, they have their CVs, they have their track record. So these are the things that we put on table. This will be a guideline, a checklist for the Senate to use in just running over, look at what they have, see who qualifies for what. If you ask me, I would rather say maybe you should go to your specific professional areas. For instance, if you're a medical doctor, you should be looking towards health. If you are an accountant, maybe finance, lawyer, what is it called now? Head of, what is it called now again?
The
Attorney General, sorry, and it's my profession. So it's the area I should,
But with 9 lawyers on this list, if not
that
more,
is not exhausted.
Close to 30.
Yeah, out of more. 1, they will choose 1. Even as an AGF, there are other areas in the legal profession that come down the cadre. All of them mustn't be the ministers. If one has been chosen, then the rest can look at the other areas. Well, any ministerial appointments are administrative rules. You must not follow with your profession. You see what I mean? But where it has to come, where it should be that for the professional areas, they should be able to choose those professional nominees before the rest can be spread out. Because as administrative rule, anybody can do the job.